Good evening. We'll start our media availability with the winning crew chief, Chad Knaus, his seventh championship in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Chad, different result, similar result than you've had in the past, but quite a unique race. Can you break it down for us a little bit from your perspective?
Holy smokes! I don't know if I can even begin. It was obviously a challenge from the onset, but it's definitely not the race that we had anticipated having. We thought that we had a little bit more speed in our car yesterday. We didn't qualify well on Friday, so we didn't have the best track position throughout the course of the race. So we didn't really show the strength of our car until I think the very end. But to be able to get up there, get clean air at the end of the race, Jimmie was actually able to do a fantastic job. So I haven't had a chance to talk to him right now if it was just him or if he thought the car was pretty good in clean air. So we'll have to find out what that is about. But we ran well, but we just couldn't broach into that top five the way we needed to throughout the course of the day. And the guys worked hard, and it was awesome. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to be here today doing this.
Unique feature of the elimination format and how that impacted this race.
It's definitely different. It's in years past as we've been here battling for this, because this was our first time in this format. You kind of had your bogey, and you knew or had a feeling about what it was that you needed to do throughout the course of the race, and then you could almost strategize or kind of conduct your race around that. With what's going on now in this format, man, it is a challenge. And we came in here with a mindset of really kind of what we do every single week of going out there to try to put ourselves in position to win the race and capitalize on situations when they arise. And man, the opportunity arose and we capitalized. So it was really the same way we approach every single week for 39 events throughout the course of the year. And it ended up paying off for us, because we could have very easily thrown in the towel and said, look, we're out of this thing. But this 48 team is very, very tenacious. And I think Jimmie and the guys proved that again tonight.
All right, we'll take a question over here from Jordan, and then we'll go back over to Tom Jensen, and then down to Bob.
Actually, Jordan, behind you.
Yes, sir.
I asked you this the other day, what your legacy. We hear a lot about his legacy. The 7 titles, everything. You've got 7 as well. He said that you really don't look at it, you don't think about it. Maybe after a couple drinks.
Yeah, that might sink in at that point for sure.
You're one short now. All-time marker, timing all-time marker.
Yeah.
Is this something you think about on your own?
It's really not. And again, I don't mean to be weird or disrespectful or anything like that, but I haven't approached it throughout the course of our career. I really just think about the next event. Now, that next event could be qualifying, the next event could be practice, the next event could be the race, it could be whatever it may be. And I feel like for me, that's the safest environment for me to operate, knowing that there's always that next goal that needs to be achieved, that next goal that needs to be accomplished, and keeping our guys in that mindset. Not that I don't want them to enjoy and bask in the opportunity to go out there and battle for championships. For myself, I do enjoy it. That's why we do it. But looking at the numbers right now isn't really what I'm about.
All right, we'll go to Tom over here, then to Bob, and then over to Lewis.
Hi, Chad. Congratulations
Thank you.
On your victory in the championship. You were up against a lot of great racers tonight. You guys who'd won in the round, defending champion in the series. There were 3 guys who won 4 races each who didn't even make it to the final. And yet you guys are the champions.
Yeah.
As you have been 7 times now. What's the difference? What's different about how you guys do your business, conduct your business, run races? It's allowed you to win 7 times. And a lot of these guys don't have one yet. And they are great racers.
Certainly, certainly. I hate to be this blunt, but it's Jimmie Johnson. He is probably the most underrated champion in this sport, to be honest with you. He is a fantastic individual, an amazing race car driver. Most people in the situation we were just in would crumble, and he didn't even waver. He knew what he needed to do. He knew what the demands were on him at that point in time, and he made it happen. And it's that's the difference in the whole thing from my standpoint. You know, we've got a great team, we've got a great owner, we've got a great, everything at Hendrick Motorsports is fantastic, but the fact of the matter is the real spark in this whole thing is Jimmie.
Go to Bob and then to Lewis, and then over to Jeffrey.
Bob Pockris, ESPN. About 95 laps left. You said that you were going to throw a lot of shit at at it.
You can't say that.
I can say that.
Did I really say that?
Yeah, you did, or something to that. You used that word.
Okay.
Did any of that stuff work, and was a horseshoe involved at all by any chance?
I mean, clearly it damn worked. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, you come up with some good ones, brother. Yeah, I think we made the car better for sure. We were able to keep pace with those guys a little bit better. Jimmie was definitely able to run the bottom of the racetrack better. We just, in traffic, we just couldn't get from that 5th to 8th, you know, in that area. Like, it's just kind of like a black hole. It's very difficult to progress through that area. And we just couldn't get through there, so we needed to make some significant adjustments. We pulled some Packer from the front that helped the body attitude. He was able to get some good restarts, which put us in that position. So, you know, yeah. Was there some luck involved, or bad luck, or I don't even know. I don't know what the conversations were about Joey and Carl and all of that stuff. So, however, all that, did that open up the door for us? Absolutely. But the fact of the matter is, you know, we lined up out there, and Jimmie drove that thing past those guys and won the race.
All right, Lewis, Jeffrey, and then Holly Kane.
Chad, much like tonight, earlier this year, the 48 team seemed to hit some headwinds. I was wondering, what do you say to your guys, you know, to get over it, and what don't we in watching you don't know?
There's different conversations that go on. It depends on what the situation is for certain. But, you know, I think the strength of this team has been able to look adversity in the eye and just deal with it. If you look at us throughout the course of our career, we've had crashes, we've had engine failures, we've had poor qualifying efforts, we've had things happen throughout the course of the race that we've been able to come back and win through. This team is solid from the standpoint that we might get wavered, we might get shaken, we might get knocked back on our heels, but man, we bounce back and we start jabbing right back, and that's the way that we've rolled, and we're going to continue to work that way till we're done.
Jeffrey Miller, Athlon Sports. Chad, before the restart that had the big crash, it seemed you kind of had to will Jimmie a bit to kind of talk to you about the car. What did you sense from him at that point, and you know, how have you learned to pull that out of Jimmie over time?
I don't even remember what you're talking about. I'm sorry.
Talking about these changes a little bit.
Gotcha. Look, there's not one of us in here that can say we have any idea what goes through these guys' minds as they're out there racing these cars at 200 miles per hour. We can act like we do. We can pretend that we do. We can pretend that we understand, but nobody in here does. Nobody. And when they're in that situation and they start to clam up, I mean, the best thing you can do is try to be their friend and try to make them realize that, hey, we're going to make it better. We're going to go forward. And sometimes I do that well. Other times I don't. But maybe tonight I did it right.
All right, we'll go down here to Holly, and then to Greg Engel, and then over to Mr. Brent James.
Holly Kane, nascar.com, and you kind of alluded to this a little bit, but you guys really had a lot of adversity to overcome this weekend between kind of the crazy way qualifying was,
Sure,
with the time there, and all the things that happened before the race, and then him really not leading until the very end of this race. Could you just speak to how you're able to do that? What is it that makes you guys able to overcome that?
I think here's it's a great question, and honestly, we probably are better at it now than what we once were, and I think a lot of it comes from security and comfort. I know that he believes in me. He knows that I believe in him. We know that we're not in fear of our jobs. We know that we've been able to win championships and win races. We've made a mark. We've made our mark. And what what happens from this point is, is the toppings on the ice cream, right? So there's a lot of comfort in that, and there's a lot of guys out there right now, they don't have that comfort. They don't, if they won the championship, yeah, they've been heroes. They didn't win the championship, okay, well, maybe not so much now. Guys that win races, guys that don't win races. Guys' jobs on the line, not on the line. So there's a lot of things that go through that as you go through sports, in any sport. So I think that's the one thing that helps us the most, is the fact that we know that we're committed to one another. We're committed to this team. We're committed to this organization, and we're going to trudge through no matter what the situation is.
Go down to Greg, and then over to Brant.
Hey, Chad, Greg Engel, Cupsy.com. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Hey, you guys overcame a lot of adversity today, and it started actually before the race. And I understand if you don't want to get the technical details, but what did NASCAR take umbrage with prior to the race? How did you fix it? And I mean, just kind of give us a little insight as to what happened, because we could kind of see what was going on, but we never got any real info. And if you don't want to explain it, it's okay. I understand.
Yeah, I don't want to. We started last, we finished first. We'll take that one. How's that?
Fair enough.
No, man, it's just one of those deals, dude. Like, here's the deal. You work. That's what we do. We work. Everybody works out there. Everybody. Every single team. And it's just a matter of whether or not you get yourself into a situation that's crippling or not. Unfortunately, today we did. And we were able to go through and make it happen. And that's really the facts. The facts are everybody is out there. Everybody's doing everything they possibly can to try to get every ounce of speed out of their race cars. And we're going to do the exact same thing, and just like everybody else. Yeah, for sure.
Brant?
Brant James, USA Today Sports. Is the satisfaction level any different in this one, sort of winning it in an unforgiving tournament-style format almost, and in the middle of the year when it seemed the Toyotas were just winning everything and you guys had ground to make up? Did this seem at all plausible for you?
It was pretty bleak, wasn't it, at that point? It wasn't looking good. I still don't think that we necessarily have the speed that we need week in and week out. We've got to get our cars better for sure. It was evident tonight, right? I don't know that the 24 didn't run that great, the 5 didn't run great, the 88. So we've got some work to do to continue to be able to compete with those guys. The one thing that we have in our corner is we have Jimmie Johnson, and he is the one that makes things happen when we don't necessarily have the race cars. When we do have the race cars that we need, he does phenomenal things. This format is unique. It's different. It did give us an opportunity to breathe and rest and relax a little bit after Charlotte, after Martinsville, which was honestly nice. It really was. Not that we took any of those other races lightly in the least little bit. We didn't, for sure. We put ourselves in position to win a lot of those races, which was great. But it's a unique format, man. It's a challenge. You guys came up with a good one on this, that's for sure. So, I look forward to hopefully being here again next year.
Any other questions from the media? We got Lee down here. Anyone else after that? We'll go over to front stretch.
Yes, Motorsport.com. Rick was in here the other day, and he said that the two of you will pretty much ride off into the sunset together. When he's done driving, you'll pretty much be done.
It's really cute.
Being a crew chief. No, but I'm just saying, would you have it any other way? I mean, given what the two of you have accomplished, the two of you are like brothers, would
Yeah.
you have that any other way?
Gosh, that's going to be hard on me, man. Damn. Probably the way it's going to roll out, for sure. It really is. I love him like a brother. He's a fantastic individual. Jimmie has taught me more about life than life itself has taught me. And, he's taught me about family. He's taught me about relationships. He's taught me about being a champion. When we started this thing, all I was just a racer guy, and he was a cool California kid, and we kind of grew up together. And to be in this situation to where we know he's got a handful of years left, whatever they may be, and for Jimmie and Mr. Hendrick to want me to stick with a 48 car and be at the helm of this ship, it's flattering. It really is flattering, because let's be honest, I'm getting older just like everybody else is, right? None of us are as young as what we once were, and I look forward to the future with these guys.
It's a very fun stretch. It was a very exciting championship celebration out there. Jeff Gordon, Dale Jr., Tony Stewart, seemed like everybody was coming out. So what was the emotions like there? It seemed very special.
I'll tell you, having Jeff is a nervous ninny, man. Let me tell you something. Golly. Him on top of the pit box, man, you guys don't even know. Like, he is stressful. But nonetheless, it's awesome having him there. I mean, as you guys all know, I started my real Cup career wasn't necessarily with the 24 car, but the first real serious phase was with the 24 car. So knowing Jeff from a young man to where he is now is awesome having him there. Dale Jr., I've known him for a long time as well. You know, man, just having him come up and showing that respect to Jimmie and the team and myself, I don't think you guys realize how much that matters to a guy like Jimmie. You know, to have him there and just, you know, kind of like, you know, hey man, that's cool. That emotion was really, really spectacular. And Tony on his last race, hopping up there, you know, he's a good dude. And Tony, he's fantastic. He understands his role in the industry. He understands the role that he played. He was, you know, the typical bad guy per se, which was great. He accepted that role. He loved that role. And, you know, Tony was one of our biggest adversaries. You know, one of our biggest competitors. You know, he was a nemesis, an enemy, you know, throughout a lot of our careers, but he was also the same guy that when things were down with Jimmie and I, he would call me on the phone and say, hey man, don't give up on this thing, you guys got it. So it meant a lot having them up there.
Jimmie Johnson, 2013 champion versus Jimmie Johnson, 2016 champion.
He is definitely a lot more mature. He's always been great. He's always been California cool. But he is in a spot right now to where he is so comfortable and willing to go out there and make things happen that most should be pretty scared, honestly. He's too comfortable in his shoes, man. He's pretty spectacular.
All right, we're joined now by the owner champion, Rick Hendrick from Hendrick Motorsports. Congratulations, champ. We got a question over here to the right from Jordan Bianchi. Then we'll go to Al Pierce.
Jordan Gansky Nation. Chad, looking at this chase, looking at the midseason struggles you guys had, it looked like you were going to have. It didn't look like a championship winning team, let's be honest, during portions of this year. Is this the sweetest? How does this compare to the other ones?
Bless you. It's definitely the sweetest today. Yeah, of course. I mean, how is it not the sweetest, right? I mean, the first was awesome. You know, I mean, how much more can I use these words? Awesome, terrific, fantastic. You know, but this is really, really special. To go through a bit of a lull, not make the chase, not be able to come down here and compete for 2 years straight. That is so difficult. I don't think you guys can even understand, because it's not like that we just only decide to work hard once in a while. You know, we as a group work so hard for 38 events to lead up to this race. So this one's pretty sweet to be able to put Jimmie's name in that same header as Dale Earnhardt Sr. and Richard Petty. It's an honor to be a part of it. I swear to you it is. I'm just glad to be his buddy and be by his side.
Al Pierce.
Yeah, Chad, Al Pierce from Auto Week. Y'all won 2 races early in the year. You had a long, not a dry spell, but you weren't really good for a long time. And then you suddenly won toward the end. Was there a moment in that great drought where y'all sat down and said, we need to do this, this, and this to get back on track?
The thing is that as you're going through those moments in time, you don't know what this, and this are. When you're not running as competitive as what you need to be, because everybody's doing everything they can all of the time, that it's very difficult to pinpoint what the situation is or where the lack of speed is. But yeah, as a group, it's been documented. We've talked about it. Mr. Hendrick sat us down and he said, look guys, we're gonna get together, we're gonna work together, we're gonna build better cars, we're gonna build more downforce, we're gonna have more horsepower, we're going to make this thing better. And everybody buckled in. We're very fortunate. We've got right at 600 people at Hendrick Motorsports, 630 something, I think maybe, and everybody raised their hand and wanted to help. And when you get that many smart people together and that many people with the same goal, it's hard to be beat. Now, again, we didn't come here, we didn't necessarily have the fastest car, clearly, but we definitely put ourselves in position to execute, and that's all we can ask.
What time of year did y'all have that little get-together?
I guess it was shortly after probably Indianapolis, which we performed well at Indy. We had a very fast race car. I think we ended up finishing third. We had a pit road penalty. We were able to pass back up through that and get ourselves into the top 10. But it was in that time frame. We were working really, really hard, and words from this man right here, boy, he can motivate just about anybody. I can say the same thing to somebody, and it just doesn't have the same effect as if he says it. I don't understand that, but he does a good job. Yep.
All right. Any final questions for Chad, or any questions for Mr. Hendrick? Lewis, you got a question for Mr. Hendrick? Go ahead.
Rick, you've had many highs and lows in your life. Where do you place today, and do you steel yourself from thinking? You always credit your team, which is correct. Do you steal yourself away from thinking about an 8th title for Jimmie?
When you think about what it would mean to see Jimmie get 8, and especially when you do it under several different formats, and I think that we've all talked, and you guys have asked me about, do I think he gets the credit he deserves? And I think the 5 in a row was pretty phenomenal, and I think winning 7 and tying 7 is pretty special. And I think I'm excited to see him, he and Chad, try to break the record now, because we're tied, and you can't go to 8 till you get 7. So that's been pretty special. So just being a part of it and seeing the organization. We were talking earlier, it just seems like yesterday we didn't think we'd even make it through the first year, and now we won 12 of these things, and it's and they're hard to do. And I mean, tonight my wife's back there in the back, and with 10 laps to go, I said, we're not gonna, you're not gonna do anything. She said, you're gonna win the race, and I said, well, that's pretty funny, yeah. Anyway. When we had that last caution and he came out and took the lead, I thought, I couldn't believe it. I was actually stunned, because we had so many ups and downs in that race, and I'm not a big fan of restarts, because I usually come out on the wrong end. But anyway, it's special to see him tie those guys. I think it's good for the sport, and I think it draws a lot of attention to our sport. And we had Gatorade had a lot of guys like Peyton Manning telling him how neat it was, and Serena Williams and people like that. I mean, I thought it was pretty cool. So I think it's going to be a big shot in the arm for not only Jimmie but our sport.
All right, gentlemen, thanks for joining us.
Dismissed.
You're now free to go.
All right.
Oh, man. We now welcome the champion of the 2016 Sprint Cup Series, Jimmie Johnson. Jimmie, tell us how you feel coming in here after what was obviously a very, very eventful evening.
Wow. Just overwhelmed. I mean, I had this crazy, weird calmness through the last couple of weeks, and then even through the race, amongst all the chaos we dealt with, and the fact that we ran behind those guys all night long, 5th, 6th, wherever we ran. There was just some calmness that was in me then we restart in the 22 and the 19 wreck, and I'm like, oh, okay, we've got a shot at this thing. I don't know why I've been so calm, but maybe it's in the cards. The next restart works out well. We get the second, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. There's really a shot at this thing. So then I get the restart of my life at the end. I hit clear off of turn 2, and it just all, like, I got the goosebumps going down the backstretch. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I look in the mirror, and the 22 is fading, and I don't know where that calmness came from. I mean, I want to say that the dedication of the #7 to little Ricky, there's something in all of that, but there was just something really interesting and different about my calmness and the relaxed nature that I had in the car, and I didn't know what the outcome would be, but I was very content and peaceful with whatever was coming my way, and then it ended up being the greatest thing in the world, so it's just wild. So yeah, I don't know if I answered your question. I went off on a tangent, but there you go.
All good, Jimmy. We'll start over here with Mike. We'll go over to James and then to Zach. Dan and Mike.
Mike Embry, Auto Week. So when do you get number 8?
I knew that was coming.
No, on the restart, you've seen Joey make great restarts all year, and you saw what he did with Carl. Were you concerned there, or did you just get like you said, start of the restart of your life? You just moved away quickly, and there was never a threat.
Oh, so the last one. Yeah, the last one, he actually got to me before the stripe and didn't have a choice but to push me, which was interesting. I was ready for him to bail out, but the way his run timed out with me, he didn't have a choice but to push me. And I could see the 42 kind of fading by, and his run was kind of over at that point. So I was just hopeful the 42 wouldn't run me tight through 1 and 2. And he was very aware of the championship situation and left me space and room, and I heard the magic word clear, and couldn't believe that it was unfolding as it did.
Go to James, Zach, and then Dan Gelston.
Joseph Walken, frontstretch.com. Jeff Gordon said that you and Chad are the best he's ever seen in his NASCAR career. What does a remark like that mean for you going into the future?
It's something I take a lot of pride in. Loyalty and loyalty is a huge thing with me. And to have, we've had our bumps in the road, but he's a brother, and I'm so proud of him and so thankful that whatever drew us to one another and created this opportunity for us to start the 48 team and work together happened. It's amazing. I would not be here today as a 7-time champion without Chad Knaus. He deserves so much praise and so much credit for my success, for this team's success, for the success of Hendrick Motorsports and where it is and what's going on with it right now. So, and over the last 15 years, I mean, God, it's crazy to say that. I guess I'm getting old, but he's something special.
Okay, we'll go Zach, Dan, and then Bob.
Zach's over there, but that's okay.
Sorry.
It's been a long day. I understand. Hey, Jimmy. Kyle Magda, ESPN Albuquerque, and theRacingExperts.com. I actually have two for you, but the first one is with the 2013 championship. Is there any way where we could see the return of those trophy hats for this one?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that was a pretty cool hat. I don't know where it is. I think we missed our chance.
And then the follow-up, just being in this format, I mean, what was it like going into today's race, being under this current format? First time that you've been in the Final Four race since NASCAR started this.
It's different for sure. To come in with equal points and know that you got to beat the competitors. I don't know. In some ways, took a little stress off because it's pretty simple what you had to do. Although I looked at their rear ends most of the night and wasn't able to mix it up with them. I think this format creates a lot of stress, a lot of drama, and we certainly felt like, I'm sure the world felt like anybody but Jimmie Johnson was going to win the championship with 20 to go, and then it changed so quick with a green-white checkered at the end. So, it's a pretty crazy format, to say the least.
Dan, Bob, and then Dustin.
Dan Gelson, Associated Press. Jimmie, you had the helmet, the photographer. You ran 7 miles, right, last night? You ran 7 miles.
I skipped it. I'm lazy. I did. I know.
Okay.
I had the best of intentions, and then the sun started to set, and I'm like, I'm going to eat some pasta. Sorry. I'll buy you all beers. Where's the beer? Let's bring the beer in. Sorry.
The fitness challenge is ruined.
I'm a failure. Sorry. I got 7 trophies now. I mean, shit. No, I had the best of intentions, and then I got really lazy. I'm like, and Chad's wearing me out. Don't wear yourself out. Hydrate, eat. Like he tells me every, stop on the radio to hydrate. So I didn't. It was tough.
Gives hope to the rest of us.
Well, I'm so lazy.
I also didn't run 7 miles last night either.
We got that going for us.
You had the commemorative helmet. You had the photographer. I mean, did you feel it? Did you know that this was the year, way back when the chase started, or is that just
no? I mean,
all that
the
stuff
summer.
You felt
The summer, no chance. Chase started to build some hope. The helmet was out of respect to Dale and Richard. And then some calm, peaceful confidence showed up after Martinsville. And that calm, peaceful confidence has stuck with me through, an okay race in Texas, a race we should have won in Phoenix, and then 395 miles here, and then uncorked itself. I don't know. Just a wild scenario.
Okay, we'll go to Bob, Dustin,
Sorry,
and then
Jim.
Greg.
Backspace. Sorry. But like every other run, if it was a short run, it was 7. So there's a lot of 7s. If you go to Strava, I may have run 7 mile. The night before Christmas. Sorry.
Bob Pockris, ESPN. Have you ever had a race that meant so much where things look so bleak? And also, there's always been the joke about the horseshoe. If there was a place for it, where would it have been tonight?
I guess the horseshoe only was in one spot, but there's no room. It was. What's wild is I never thought it was a bleak night. I mean, there was this weird, comfortable confidence I had all night long, and maybe weird is the wrong word to use, but I felt like something was going to happen, and I was going to be okay with it. And for a while, I came to grips with the reality of it being 3rd, 4th, somewhere in there, and shaking somebody else's hand and being happy for them. And then it changed so quick at the end.
Dustin, Greg, and then Lewis.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Jimmie, your dad said that you sent him a text last night, and he talked a little bit about it, I guess, thanking him for being there and doing things through the years. Can you talk about that? And he was surprised to get something like that. He says, he's never done that for me before. And were you aware that it brought him to tears?
Yeah, I sent my dad, my mom, my brothers, and Rick Johnson a text last night, just thanking them for their love and support, and I'd make them proud today. And I didn't know what that exactly meant as I was sending it, and all the texts were a little bit different, but I don't know why, and as he mentions, the first time I've done that. It was funny was getting a response back from him because I think he still has a flip phone, so no telling how hard it was for him to punch back what he did. But yeah, I took the time to do that last night. I just wanted him those 5 to know. You know, I was thankful for the love and support that they've given me over the years.
What did you tell your dad when you were texting? What was his response then?
He's always had this yell, this "Yow!" and that was, I think somebody else typed it for him because it actually said that, and there's no chance he did it. But as a kid, going off a jump on a dirt bike, I could always tell where he was on the racetrack because I could hear him scream that, and that's what he texted back. Yep.
Greg, Lewis, and then Holly.
Greg Engel, CupScene.com. Congratulations, it's awesome.
Thank you
to see. And you know, winning races and winning championships is not easy. Everybody knows that. But some years you seem to have been on a roll, and you were the man, and you were the one to beat, and you were the favorite, and you know the fans. There was like a polarizing kind of effect. Today when you were introduced, there was more cheering than anything, and of course, it was kind of because it seems like you were really fighting for this one. You weren't on top all the time. You weren't always the favorite. You weren't always out there, much like this race tonight. You know, we didn't. Well, maybe next year for Jimmie, but yet there you are. So you really fought hard for this one, as you do. You know, you do for all of them. But does this one feel any different than some of the ones in the years past in terms of maybe a little tougher than some of the other ones that you got in the past? Does that make sense?
Well, I guess first of all, to speak to the point of the fan reaction, honestly, when I jumped in the back of the pickup truck after driver intros and they had the 4 of us and we were going around the track, I usually get flipped off a lot. I mean, they shoot me the bird everywhere we are, every state, everywhere we go. And I kept looking up and seeing hands in the air thinking they were shooting me the bird again, and it was actually 7. I mean, all the way around the racetrack, everybody's holding up 7. And I mean, it just gave me the goosebumps. I'm like, wow, what a interesting shift in things. So I think the fact that we're in the position we were today to tie history, you know, even people wearing other hats and other T-shirts that normally shoot me the bird were holding up 7. It was really cool. Yep.
Lewis, Holly, and then George Diaz.
Over here. Recalling an earlier victory celebration at the Brickyard, little Evie didn't want to kiss the bricks, but tonight, not only was she in victory lane, but even Lydia seemed to hold up 7. What does that mean to you to have your daughters there? And Evie obviously probably didn't appreciate 2013. What did it mean to you to have them there and realize you've done something, if not 7 championships?
Yeah, it's. I mean, they're so young; it's hard to know exactly what's going on, but it means the world to me to have them there. And honestly, you know, the reaction that Shani had on her face was a lot like the reaction I had and what I was experiencing. I mean, I've seen, we've been through some emotional stuff over the years, 2 children and all these great professional things that have gone on. I've never seen my wife put that expression on her face, and I mean, it said the world to me. She said she was in the fetal position in the motorhome as the laps were winding down. Kids were going nuts. They could see the race, what was going on TV, but didn't know why Mom was in the fetal position. And so I guess it was pretty chaotic in the motorhome. But it's, you know, they make such sacrifice to let me go out and do my thing. So I'm very thankful, and in those moments, you know, sharing these moments with them mean everything. Yep.
Holly?
Holly Kane, NASCAR.com. Congratulations,
Thank
Jimmie.
you.
This question's been asked a little bit, but I'm just curious, does this feel like the most dramatic way that you've clinched a title? I mean, certainly it's a different format than you've had before, but does it feel as dramatic to you as it appeared to us?
Without a doubt. I mean, when I was coming to the checkered flag, I had to really look closely at it going by to make sure it was. I'm like, is this really happening? And I don't even know what I screamed on the radio, but I know it didn't sound like my voice. I remember thinking, well, you better take your finger off the button. That didn't sound like you. Yes, that was as dramatic and as crazy as I've ever experienced in my racing career.
George, then we'll swing it over here to the right, actually, and then back to Brent.
Yeah, Timmy, George Diaz, Orlando Sentinel, congratulations. Getting back, you talked about the celebratory thing with your family. That was very special. What about having, you know, Jeff there, Dale Jr., Tony. Can you kind of go back and relive those moments and what you were feeling during that time?
Yeah, the respect from peers is, truly one of the things that has always motivated me and has always hit me the deepest through my racing career, even back when you're a young kid at a local track and one of the local stars at the track, like, hey, good job, saw what you did. I mean, I can remember feelings then, and it's the same feeling today. Before I even came off of turn 4, Eric Amarola was running off the end of pit road, like the only person on foot running out there to congratulate me. I was like, holy cow, that's awesome. But all my teammates, Jeff, Junior, Richard Childress, the nod from your peers, I mean, that really hits deep, and it means the world.
We'll come back to you, Brent, next.
Front stretch. Congrats, Jimmy, on the championship.
Thank you.
Back in January, you told me that you weren't in favor of the title format, the points, because of your early exit the past 2 years. What about now?
I still have 6 the other way, so I think I'm fond of the previous chase. And this track hasn't been our best. Somehow we won tonight. I think we definitely stepped up our game running here and could run in the top 5. But, it's a 400-mile race, so 395-ish miles, we were on the ropes. 5th wasn't going to cut it. So I think the old format still does benefit me. I think on paper, this format is good for me to make the championship 4. But and I guess we've won here now, so we can scratch that off the list. But I would love for this thing to end at Dover. I should start politicking for final race at Dover.
All right, we'll go to Brant and then over to Jeffrey.
Brant James, USA Today Sports. You were speaking of the calm, I think was the term you used, that you were experiencing in the latter parts of the race. Does any of that derive from, you have a lot of championships in the bank, your place in history is only going to be argued up? I mean, if everything went wrong there, okay, maybe you come back next year and try. Everything was kind of gravy there. Does that all contribute to a sense of ease of like, let's just see what happens here?
Yeah, I think so, and that was the thing I was trying to come to grips with during the red flag, and at different points of the race even. It's the calmness because I'm comfortable with where I am in the sport, and there's nothing wrong with 6. Or am I comfortable because there's something else that's going to happen? I really couldn't sort that all out, and honestly, as those final 3 restarts unfolded, it started coming together in my head, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. This is where it's going. Like, I didn't see that. I thought that I was going to go shake someone else's hand, and I was content with that. And then it kept changing, and I'm like, no way. This is really going down. And it was pretty wild.
Jeffrey?
Jeffrey Miller, Athlon Sports. I just need to know more about the greatest restart of your life. What the heck happened, and how did you pull it off with a car that was 5th fastest on it?
Yeah, I think there are a few things. I didn't spin the tires. The 22 got to me before he had a chance to pull out and take us 3 wide, and the 42 gave me room. I mean, the 42 could have been very difficult and hung on my quarter panel and made life tough for me, but he gave me the space to get through 1 and 2, and those 3 pieces were key for it taking place. Me getting the restart of my life.
All right, we'll go over here to the left.
Joey Barnes, Motorsports Tribune. Jimmy, over here. Take me through the cool-down lap. Like, once you had crossed the start-finish line, everything was sealed, you took your finger off the button from yelling. When you had those moments to yourself in that cool-down lap, just what was that like?
Just incredible, because I'm trying to get the window net down, and I have I noticed that Kyle and Joey both quickly came up alongside the car and gave me a thumbs up. My teammates, and again, that nod from the peers. It was just such a cool moment that hits deep, and to see everybody's arms coming out the window, guys revving engines, that was a pretty awesome cool down lap.
All right, we'll wrap it up with Jeff Gluck.
Embry joked about it when you first came in, but I would like to ask about number 8. Rick said, you can't get to number 8 till you get to number 7, so now you have that and you're tied, and he's looking forward to seeing you and Chad try to get number 8. What do you think the chances of that happening are?
I don't know what the chances are, but I mean, let's go. I'm so excited to put that in front of myself and the team as a hurdle to get over and an accomplishment to achieve. I had a lot of fun racing for the 6th. This one and the calm nature and the way we went about business and got it done only gives me more confidence for the future. And I honestly feel like I'm playing with house money. I mean, I never aspired to be famous. I never aspired to be a champion. I just wanted to race. And I've found a way to put it in that simple mindset here the last couple attempts in 13 and now in 16. And I think it makes us really dangerous. And I look forward to the challenges of trying to get number 8.
All right. Thank you very much, Jimmie, for coming
Thank you,
in.
everybody.